This is how I bought a $1 million airplane that I practically got for free. I'm gonna show you how I was actually paid up front for this airplane and how it will be free for the next 10 years. So let's get into the numbers. Although these airplanes are small, they're really expensive. The main reason for this is they are fast and have a ton of automations and safety features. Not only that, but COVID made a lot of people want to travel, which drove up the demand, which drove up the prices. But to me, the cost was worth it to pay more for an airplane because of the automations and safety features like the parachute. 2022 was the last year for accelerated depreciation. Trump put in place a law that says that you could depreciate all in 1 year certain types of things that you bought, such as equipment and certain types of improvements in real estate. Tax benefits. 2022 was the last year for accelerated depreciation. Accelerated depreciation basically allows you to buy certain equipment and write it all off in 1 year, which means that you can deduct it, but it's depreciation, so you can add it back in when your banks are looking at your income. We do this with equipment and we do this with a lot of things in real estate. So why $1 million? Why would I have not bought a cheaper airplane? So I went for a Cirrus SR22 Turbo. This plane is super fast and has a lot of safety features, which when I'm flying my family is very important. And one of those safety features is a parachute. Not a parachute for me, but it's actually a parachute for the whole airplane, which makes me feel better flying and makes it way safer for the family. The other beautiful thing is because it's a turbo, it flies super high and super fast over weather, so I can rent it for a lot more money. I can actually rent this plane for $675 an hour while I'm not using it, which means I only have to rent it for about 20 hours a month to help pay for most of the airplane. Another thing is time is money. This saves me a lot of time flying. I take a lot of flights from San Diego to Vegas as well as Phoenix. It's a little over an hour to each one of these places, but I save an hour and a half of driving and the airport time, which saves me another 2 hours on each trip. And because I'm not flying commercial, I can fly into any airport, which saves me a ton of drive time. For Phoenix, for instance, there's about 3 or 4 different airports I can fly into, and depending on where my meeting is, depends on where I want to fly into. And last of all, it's just fun. On top of that, when I bought my airplane, there was a lot of buzz about it, and I think I've gotten some clients because I have an airplane. Okay, let's dive into the numbers. All in all, this airplane cost me right about $1 million, just a tad under. Because of accelerated depreciation rules, I was able to write off 100% of the airplane in the first year. If you are a business owner and do not know about accelerated depreciation, you need to check it out. It has saved me over $1 million of taxes just over the last few years. 2022 is the last year that you can use accelerated depreciation. After that, it goes down to 80% in 2023 and down 20% more every single year after that until it's all gone. That means this airplane purchase saved me 37% in federal taxes, which is the highest income tax bracket you can have. So that comes out to $370,000. California state income tax is 12.3%, which saves me another $123,000. So the total for 2022 taxes saved was $493,000. Because I only had to put down $150,000, my net effect is a positive $343,000. So not only was this plane free, but I made $343,000 up front. I know, airplanes are not cheap. So I will tell you the cost to operate this airplane monthly and how I get a good chunk of this paid every single month. On an airplane like this, you can usually get a 20-year loan, but I was only able to get a 15-year loan. My interest rate was in the mid 4%, which I know is hard to get now. So the monthly payment on this airplane is $6,509.33 per month. Then for insurance, you add in another $1,460.40. And I was able to get this so cheap because I put it on a blanket policy, and I'll tell you how I did that here in just a little bit. Usually for a newer pilot, insurance policies can be, for a plane like this, $2,000 all the way up to $3,000. I like this inside of a hangar because it protects the airplane. And I have this airplane at Montgomery Gibbs Airport, which is KMYF, and this cost me $800 a month. I know, super expensive, but it's California. Bringing a total cost of around $8,715. This is before I even start flying the airplane. But if you do the math on this, if I was able to save $340,000 up front at $8,715 a month, that means that $343,000 paid for 39 months of payments. But honestly, there was no need to use that money in 39 months, and here's why. As I told you earlier, I'm able to get a good part of this monthly payment paid for. A lot of other people don't like people flying their airplane, but for me, I love it. Do you know why? Because they pay me a lot for it. As I mentioned, I can rent this airplane for $6 $675 an hour. After management and gas, I net around $350 an hour. So I technically only need to rent this airplane for 25 hours any month, but that's before obviously maintenance. To show you how powerful this is, last month I had my best month leasing out my airplane and got a check for $19,567.30, which was my best month so far, but I typically don't get less than $4,000 a month. So let's say conservatively this averages out to $6,000 a month in income, which means my cost is $2,715. Then if I made $343,000 upfront on this airplane, that means I could use that to pay for 125 months or 10 years of payments. That, my friends, is how you get a plane practically free. If you want to see how I'm going to start using this method with jets, subscribe and hit the notification button and follow my journey from single engine airplanes to flying jets. Speaking of jets, if you liked this video, you should check out this video next.